A TomTom satellite navigation unit drizzled in honey. A Helinox chair with crisp, fresh iceberg lettuce. High-end LED fog lights dipped in creamy milk chocolate. Climb jackets sprinkled with free-range goat's cheese. And Schuberth helmets with a naturally sourced cherry on top. This isn't just any adventure bike shop. This is the Adventure Bike Shop. The Adventure Bike Shop.
Rubbish adverts.
Great at adventure.
Hello!
Hey! How we doing?
Welcome to the first ever live podcast from Adventure Bike TV. Bear with us, we don't really know what we're doing. We're just kind of bungling through this. But this is the new format. Adventure Bike TV, as hopefully you know from having watched the most recent episode, is moving on to Amazon Prime. We will have 6 extremely high-end, extremely exciting episodes for you from the 1st of November. And we're still going to continue with huge amounts of online content. There's still going to be bike reviews. There's still going to be Under the Visor, Claire's cooking segment, top riding tips. All of that will still be on YouTube. It's just the main show itself will go over to Amazon Prime. But it does mean that you will get a lot more and a lot more regular content. So hopefully you'll enjoy that. So, hello everyone that's already watching. There's a whole 5 of you for our first one. So,
I'm surprised there's 5. It's a lovely day, and
yeah, I know you should. To be fair,
you should be out riding your bike.
You should be out riding. Just go and ride your bike. Don't listen to us. We're just going to be talking complete rubbish for like half an hour. So that's go and do something else. So, hello to George.
Hey, George.
How long will each episode be of this? Or if you mean this, we don't know. However long we talk for. If you're thinking about
the
Amazon, Adventure Bike TV on Amazon, they're going to be around the 45-minute to an hour long, same as the original was, and they're going to include some really good comparative bike reviews, another travel segment where we go off on an amazing adventure, and some really in-depth and interesting features. So hopefully you will like that.
I don't know if we'll be doing the Africa Twin DCT again, though.
No, apparently people don't agree with you and Graham.
I'll be honest with you.
I'm just stepping back from this.
I'll be honest with you. It's a great bike. Don't get me wrong. It's just, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Hello, Noah. Nice to see you. Anthony. Yes, the show is moving to.
Patreon.
I don't know, thought that it was. Yes, it is moving to Amazon Prime. You can also watch the new show on Patreon. It's just £1 a month to be a patron, and you'll be able to watch the show on there if you don't have Amazon Prime as well. Yes, it will be on Patreon too. So, yes, okay, so with our whole 8 viewers, we'll get started.
Let's kick this off.
The first thing we're going to do is go through some of the news on the market at the moment. So, what is happening in news at the moment, Sam? Well, I'm going to tell you.
You're going to tell me. Yeah, I was going to say.
Saying it's written here, I'll tell you. The first thing that we found quite interesting is the new 700cc Yamaha Tenere, which everyone's talking about. It's kind of the bike to be on at the moment. They're now going to be releasing it for under £9,000.
Wow, £900. You heard it here first.
No, £9,000 if you order by the 31st of July online. So that's quite exciting. That's a good price.
That's an amazing price for quite a piece of kit. I'll be honest with you. Seeing as the KTM 790 is 12 grand odd.
Yes.
You can't really, yeah.
The question is why do you think? Where do you think the difference in price comes from? Do you think it's quality of parts, or do you think it's just Yamaha have larger kind of production facilities?
I haven't ridden it. So I wouldn't like to say. But from initial reports, the engine's quite a what's the word? Well used engine. I don't think it's anything special.
So they've just taken the engine out of something else. And...
Well, I don't know. I don't know.
But then they've done that surely with the 790 because it's the Duke engine, isn't it?
Yeah, but the Duke engine is a completely new engine, though. Surely.
Yeah. I mean, it's not. It's got nothing to do with the fact that you're like a massive KTM fan.
No. Do you know what? I haven't ridden it. I don't want this to descend into kind of
who's better, Yamaha.
Who's better, Yamaha.
KTM.
But it's obviously KTM. But no. I think it's. I don't know. I really don't know until I really have a look at it properly and ride it. I mean, personally, I'm not a big fan of the tank. From the side-on views, the fuel tank looks quite high up. And
that's one of the massive advantages of 790 with the tank.
Yeah, I mean, having ridden the 790,
I can't wait to ride the Tenere, and the price.
Yeah, the price
screams.
That's the thing.
Me, that's a good thing.
That's the only problem with the KTM that's really let us down.
It's a big price.
Yeah.
Let us. It sounds like you're part of them. As a KTM lover. Okay, next thing. On the news is that Triumph have hinted that they're thinking of releasing an electric motorcycle, adventure motorcycle, called the TE1.
Yeah.
Now,
that's the project name, isn't it?
Yeah. What do you think? I mean, electric motorcycles are fantastic. There are a lot of them. I know you are a big advocate of electric vehicles all round.
Yep.
And actually, it's one of the features we're going to be covering in the new Amazon series is where is the future of adventure motorcycling in terms of the technology and things like that. But what do you think, if we talk about, do you really think the technology is there to give the kind of range that an adventure bike needs?
I'll be honest with you. At this point in time, I don't think we have the technology, the battery tech for long range adventure bikes. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. But I don't know. It has to. It has to start.
They obviously they're specifically looking at an adventure bike, so they must know something maybe we don't.
Oh yeah, there's going to be kind of newer batteries that can be charged in half the time and have longer range. But that hasn't hit us yet. Until that happens, I can't. Right now, it's all going to be a case of. It's a showcase thing. We can do this, we can do that, but
a bit like the KTM Freeride.
Yeah.
It's...
Sorry, what's Squirrel saying? Disagree. The tech is there, but the power stations are not. Funny enough, I did read the other day there are more charging stations in the UK than there are petrol stations. Do you know that?
I do. It's similar. Something that Adam's written on here. The charging times, the distance you'll have going them, whether you'll actually be able to. Okay, yes, there are all these charging stations within kind of built up areas, but if you want to travel down through the middle of Africa, in the middle of nowhere, how can you do that on an electric bike? You can't. You can find fuel anywhere.
Yeah, that's the big
Unless
issue.
It's going to come with a massive, really, really expensive solar charger.
Well, you have a big hat with solar panels,
it's
big sombrero.
Really lovely little bike, and then there'll just be this little lead that comes behind it, and then there'll just be this like sled behind it with all these batteries and things on. So, excuse me if I end up looking over here. That's because your comments are coming up. So I'm not just looking away from Sam, although that is one of the benefits.
So yeah. Electrification, it's going to happen. The uptake, again, don't get me wrong, I am fully behind electrification of vehicles. I mean, having driven quite a few electric cars and loving, I mean, just purely, I've ridden the Freeride E, and that is like nothing else. I mean, the instant torque, I could play on it all day, if it lasted all day. But, as you said, trying to get that balance between distance and charging times, that's something they will hopefully they'll have figured out. So Yeah, and you're right. It's you have got Zero. They are the leaders in the electric motorcycle.
That's interesting. George Hindermarsh has just put. He used to work for. Don't get close to that mic. They don't want to hear your voice.
Sorry, heavy breathing.
Used to work in a Yamaha dealership and got told unofficially that 1/3 of all Yamaha R&D is going into electric bikes.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. I mean, I know, obviously, there's. You look at people like the big kind of brands that also do cars, Honda, for example. There's a lot of technology, a lot of money going into.
Honda's just released they're just about to release their new EV car as well.
Yeah, exactly. So, although I think Honda's also really looking at the hydrogen technology.
Yeah.
So that could be exciting as well.
Yeah.
Zero do have an adventure bike, 200 miles. Again, it's not the fact that you can't make them. I think it's the fact that it's just simply where you charge them when you're away.
I think also we've got to kind of understand the terminology when we say adventure bike. What do we mean by adventure bike? I mean, on some of the trips I've taken when I had my 690, I had 32 litres of fuel. And there were times I was literally on the red line going to places like Sudan because there was no fuel. Or is it an adventure where you just go up to Scotland and ride around? That's more achievable on an electric motorbike than, let's say, going around the world on a motorbike, electric motorbike. So
I think the upshot is it's just exciting that someone's taken the
up
leap
the mantle,
and said, we're going to do this. I think that's very exciting.
Yeah. Yep, definitely is the future, Adam.
Yep.
And I'm super enthusiastic.
For a change.
Woo!
Okay,
Right, next.
moving on. Royal Enfield sales. They've fallen 17% over the year.
Supposedly it's the 350cc market that's really kind of pulled them down.
It's a shame though. I mean, because obviously there's, the Royal Enfields are used huge amounts out in kind of India. I mean, I rode a Bullet myself, from Nepal into India and then over to Bangladesh, which is, I think the bikes are there, and then obviously they've brought out the Himalayan, which.
It's had quite a bit of uptake, isn't it? Lots of people seem to like it.
I personally don't like it because when I stand up on the pegs, I find it the positioning of the rear frame
pushes you out, doesn't it?
Yeah, and that could be because I have calves that are the size of.
Well, saying that, Claire has the same issue.
Yeah.
Yeah,
massive calves, or she can't stand up on the thing?
No, when she stands up, it does in the city boots. It kind of pushes her legs out a bit. And
it's a shame. I really wanted to like that bike. I really wanted to, and I know that like Nathan Millward has gone on about it, who absolutely loves it and things like that. But for me, it wasn't quite right. But it's a shame to see a brand like that. But I mean, they've gone up and down over the years.
I think it's such an old school brand as Royal Enfield is, and they're coming out with some really cool looking bikes, some mid range, isn't it like 500cc kind of 600cc. 500 cafe racer kind of.
I haven't seen them.
Yeah, they look really, really cool. And I'm not a big proponent of like small displacement bikes. I don't like them. I don't like riding them. But I think they're trying to crack now the European market with them. So it should be interesting. On
the kind of upside, in general, the motorcycle market in Europe has had a 20% growth. Now, I don't know whether that's motorcycles and scooters or it's just motorcycles. But February saw the best year in over a decade within Europe for manufacturing, and they sold over 115,000 motorcycles. So that's good to know that the market is still growing, because there's been concerns for a long time. We're going to be going on, one of the subjects we're talking about later on in this is how we get the younger generation into adventure motorcycling. But I think one of the key things at the moment is the test has got so much harder since.
Do you know what? I'll be honest with you.
It's a bit more of a palaver.
No, do you know what? I love to see kids, wanting to use motorcycles and stuff. But I think, getting a scooter now, for instance, is so easy.
Yeah, but it's that jump from a scooter to a motorcycle.
Yeah.
No one does it. They go from a scooter to... But we'll talk about this.
Yeah.
Because that's a whole other subject.
Yep. Don't get me started, all right.
The last thing I want to talk about in news is rider news. This month, every month, if you send me any kind of details of trips you might be going on, any events you might be attending, or any events that you know of that you think other people should know about, please just drop us a line and we'll read them out in this. And the first one I want to tell you about is a gentleman called Carl Taylor.
No.
Carl Taylor is set out yesterday on his ride around the Black Sea. Now, it is road-based, but I don't think that makes it any less of an adventure. He's doing it on a Triumph Sprint. Is that?
Are you thinking about Sprinter van?
No, it's not one of their adventure bikes.
Is it?
It's on their road
Is
bike.
it a tourer bike?
Yeah.
Something.
Sprinter
Sprint.
or something like that.
No, it's not a Sprinter.
Sprinter,
It's not a
the
Sprinter.
Sprint.
It's Sprint.
So, if anyone knows what bike that is, please let me know. But anyway, he's doing it for the Headway charity. If you don't know what the Headway charity is, it's a fantastic charity that helps people recover from brain injuries. Carl himself had a motorcycle crash.
Thanks, George. Yeah, Sprint GT.
Thank you. Yes, Sprint GG. Thanks, George.
At least someone knows about motorbikes.
Okay. I was just going into a really nice little bit there. It's quite meaningful.
Sorry.
Just interrupting me. Jeez. I have to deal with this all the time. At the age of 16, he had quite a big motorcycle accident and had a massive bleed on the brain. He was in a coma for over a week, had to learn to walk again. And he didn't have any help from the Headway charity because they didn't know about it at the time. He's 40 now, raising money for them, for other people who have brain injuries. And it's sad to say that a good proportion of them are motorcyclists. So it's really great that he's doing that. If you want to follow him or support him, search on any of his social medias for Tarmac Tours. And you should be able to find him. His name is Carl Taylor. Support him any way you can.
Yep.
It's great what he's doing, and we're going to keep you updated. He's going to be sending us some bits and bobs, so we'll keep you updated as well. Okay,
All right.
now we're going to move on to our first subject. Let's have a check of the comments first. Obviously, people just saying how great it is.
Hi, guys.
And how brilliant we are.
Yep.
No one's saying that.
I think they can read the comments, Tom. So
I was kind of hoping they were just for us. Never mind, eh? So obviously, when we get onto the more kind of topics of conversation we're going to talk about, please write some comments. It helps us kind of talk.
Let's start a conversation about it. I mean, that's what this is
That's what
about.
it's about. And we're going to be, just to let you know, obviously in future ones of these, there's a spare chair next to Sam.
It's not for my fat ass.
It's just
No.
so you can fit in. We're hoping to bring on guests quite regularly. Sometimes it might be Graham, sometimes it might be Claire, sometimes it might be someone else. But we'll always try and bring someone in that can offer a unique view as to what we're talking about on the show. But for the first one, we thought we'd just keep it to us.
Yeah.
Mainly
Sorry,
because we
guys.
were sure it was going to go pretty badly. so we're going with that. Okay, so the first one we want to talk about.
Sorry. Squirrel's right. It is my invisible friend, because I'll be honest with you, the one sitting next to me on this side, he's
Hardly a friend.
Yeah, that's tenuous
Wow.
to say the least. No,
Wow.
only joking.
Yeah, shut up now. Okay, so we're going to move on and talk about the Dakar Rally. Okay,
Ooh.
so why the Dakar Rally? Well, there's a new venue. And most of you have probably heard about this.
Yeah.
They have got a new venue for Dakar Rally. They are going to
Saudi Arabia, the place where everyone knows your name.
Really?
No.
Unless you're female.
Unless you're female, then don't say anything. Keep covered. No riding bicycles.
So you're from? Well, you have.
No.
You're not from. You're from
No,
Wales. You have.
My dad
family.
is from the Middle East.
Yeah.
I lived out in Saudi Arabia for a good few years.
So you should be.
My
able to
mum's
give us
English, by
a
the way.
good- Yeah.
Just in
wanted to
case.
throw that in, did you?
Yeah.
But no. Obviously, that means that you'll have a bit more of an insight as to how. I mean, how first of all, how are they with motorcyclists out there? Because obviously, you used to ride out there. Is it a big thing out there? Is it...
I didn't ride out there. I lived in Dubai, and that's that's fine. Dubai riding, I mean, it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant out there. Saudi, it is quite strict. If on one of my trips I wanted to go into Syria, and I thought I'd ride through Saudi, but you have to get an invitation from the Harley club out there and ride. I mean, it's an absolute pain in the arse.
I mean, but this isn't going to be an issue for the Dakar, because the Dakar's going to have all that sorted.
The Dakar's not going to have. Dakar's not. I mean, basically, Saudi have thrown enough money at the event that they're not going to stop female riders. They're not going to. They're going to try and make it as inclusive as possible to kind of keep face. They've got it for 5 years.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I mean, if you look at places like the rally out in the Desert Challenge, that's out in Dubai. It's a fantastic race. It is a fantastic race. I mean,
is it stepping on their toes slightly, maybe?
No. That's a. I mean, I really, really don't know what's going to happen.
I think the main question that everyone's got about this is this thing of why the change. Now, everyone knows why they moved from kind of North Africa over to South America because of the political climate in North Africa at the time. The problems they were having, it made sense to go over there. There's a lot of people who seem to think, and maybe they're right, that the only reason for this move is money.
I would say so. I would say I was a bit skeptical at first when they moved to South America, because I liked North Africa. I loved riding in the deserts anyway. I love seeing people ride in the desert, and but then I kind of grew to like the different terrain in South America. I like seeing them kind of get stuck in mud, and then all of a sudden they're in dunes, and then whatnot. I enjoyed it.
You can't get away from that brilliant photo when Cy Pavey was towing his son Lel, and he was just covered head to toe in mud. You couldn't even tell it was him. But then at the same time, you get the salt flats. They did a lot of stuff on the salt flats, and then they do the desert as well. There's a lot of varied. I mean,
I think
is it that varied out there?
What, in Saudi?
Yeah.
No.
It's just sand.
But saying that, it is one of the largest deserts in the world, and it is difficult. Supposedly, I think the Dakar in South America was 10 days. This one they're making 12 days, and I think it's 9,000 kilometers. So it's going to be bloody grueling, and it's going to be hot. It's going to be so hot. So it's going to be tough. It's not going to be easy by any way, shape, or form.
But do you think it's losing something by losing that variety? I'm keeping an eye on them.
Okay.
Try and do my job for them.
Sorry, what were you saying?
Anyone I asked what happened to the rally bike build that these two were doing?
Oh.
I was following that. Yes. In fact, we were going to film some of it today, this morning. But there was a change in plans. But we're actually restarting it again pretty soon. Yeah,
that's something we'll mention later on.
It's exciting. So keep your eyes peeled.
Yeah. But yeah, back to the Dakar. What are your guys' thoughts? I mean, do you think it's politically motivated? Is it money motivated?
I mean, Squirrel Adventures has said change of pace, something shiny and new. Which yes, I mean it is always nice to change things up a bit. I think.
Saying that, I think North Africa was the original route down through North Africa was phenomenal.
And it included some of Europe as well.
Yeah, it did. Portugal and so. I think it's lost its edge. I think the Dakar has now become a bit too clinical. I mean, when I was watching the original Dakar, when it went through North Africa, there were times that they'd be going through some village in North Africa and they'd get shot at by the locals and stuff like that. And okay, you don't want anyone to be killed, but the point is that it was really rough and ready. And I think, speaking to a few of the... you corrected my pronunciation of this. There's the Malmoto riders. it's now all for the big players. It's the KTM's, the Hondas, and a lot of them do feel left out. They're not being looked after as well as.
I mean, I think the other thing you do get is a change in people, not necessarily in the high end teams, but the lower end teams. So, for example, when it left North Africa and went over to South America, it meant that there was a lot more South American riders who could then afford, because of no shipping costs or lower shipping costs for them, they could afford to enter the Dakar when they hadn't been able to before. Yet some Europeans who were planning to do it then couldn't. Obviously, this will then probably mean that there are some of the people from South America might struggle to get back into it, but it opens up another new class. Potentially. But essentially, I guess the key thing is people have said it's money motivated. Do we think it's losing something? Do you think Dakar is losing the spirit of what it really is?
I think it started losing it as soon as they recognized how much money they could be making from it. It's not about the endurance as such. I mean, the KTM, a lot of the big end riders, everything's set up for them. They just, don't get me wrong, they're amazing, and what they do is absolutely phenomenal. But it's a case of like Lyndon Poskett, for instance, when he does it, he does the bike himself. So he's ridden X amount of hours. He has to come back. He has to do the bike. And that's what I like to watch. I like to watch kind of someone really pushing themselves. And same with like Craig Bounds.
Yeah.
It's a good friend of ours. And he does amazing things. And some of the stories he tells us about it.
Can I just see, Kodja biker? Are they trying to stop KTM? Just a thought.
In terms of what?
Yeah.
Is it because is it because they changed the where the location? Because if it is the location, I doubt it, because that's Sam Sunderland's playground. As I said, living in Dubai, I knew Sam when he was working with KTM in the KTM shop, and such a nice guy, but he is phenomenal. I've been riding a couple of times out with him, and he just canes it. Yeah. Oh man, he's fantastic, and he's such a nice guy as well. So I hate that. So he's so amazing.
How dare you be nice, talented, good looking? Is he good looking? Yeah, he's good looking.
Well, yeah, he's
dominance. KTM, is it? Yeah, in terms of dominance, KTM's dominance over the sport.
They just seem to have. Well, saying that Honda was quite close this year.
Honda's putting some effort into
it. Yeah, they're really putting some effort into it. I think, again, I suppose the only analogy I can put to it is like football. That KTM's focus is basically racing. So they're going to that's where most of their money goes, in getting the best riders. If you look at, like, for instance, Formula One and Mercedes dominance. Yeah.
I mean, they're completely dominant and have been for many, many years. But before that, there tends to be, you always, in Formula One, you had Ferrari dominance and everyone complained that Ferrari is too dominant. Then you had Red Bull's dominance and everyone complained Red Bull was always dominant. And then Mercedes. And the trouble is, it tends to be for a 4 or 5 year period in most sports. Whoever's top tends to be able to stay top until someone changes something they're doing in a lower team and brings it up. But I think Honda, I think,
Honda's
have
are nipping at the heels.
Yeah.
But saying that, KTM's been top for more than 5 years now. Yeah. But again, that's KTM's MO. They shove all their money into racing. So.
Okay. Yeah. Right, we're going to take a little advert break because we have to pay bills, and also I need to change the battery on the camera. We're going to go on a quick advert break now, and we will see you on the other side in about 1 minute's time. Please watch the adverts; it pays the bills for us. It's how we can continue making content for you. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you guys in a minute.
A TomTom satellite navigation unit drizzled in honey. A Helinox chair with crisp, fresh iceberg lettuce. High-end LED fog lights dipped in creamy milk chocolate. climb jackets sprinkled with free-range goat's cheese, and Schuberth helmets with a naturally sourced cherry on top. This isn't just any adventure bike shop. This is the Adventure Bike Shop. The Adventure Bike Shop.
Rubbish adverts.
Great at adventure.
A TomTom satellite navigation unit drizzled in honey.
In my experience, there are three things that broaden the mind. One is hallucinogenics. And the second thing, well, that's traffic. The third thing, of course, is a good read.
When you read or listen to Graham Field's motorcycle travel books, it's not an uphill struggle. You just go along for the trip. Hello, we're back, and I definitely managed to change the batteries in time. And now I'm just...
He's trying to make himself look a bit more professional and not drink out of sippy cup.
You can't look cool drinking out of a carton of apple juice. But we came back a bit earlier than I was expecting. Okay, so hopefully it's not going too badly. How do we think it's going? All 15 viewers.
Oh, it was 17. Two of them have just gone. They saw you drinking out of a...
I just lost all respect for me now. Okay. So, thank you for watching the adverts. I hope you like them.
All right, Squirrels, we'll see you in a minute.
Yep. Where are you going, Squirrel?
Oh, it's power cut.
Wow. Squirrel Adventures has had a power cut, everyone. So, yeah. Feel free to fill that gap. She's waiting to come back. He's like our main viewer. Okay, so the next thing we want to talk about is looking at how we encourage young generations to get into adventure motorcycling. And we kind of touched on this earlier when we were talking the news about bike sales versus scooter sales. And I do. This is something we don't want to give too much away, but our next trip on the Amazon series is specifically aimed at low budget adventure for people that are just getting into adventure, a younger generation that maybe don't have a license that can use a great big expensive GS. In fact, all three bikes we're taking,
they're definitely not GSs.
and they add up to less than it costs to buy a GS.
Oh God, yeah.
All three of them.
Yeah.
But that's part of the Amazon series. But I think, the younger generation. I mean, we've obviously all seen the efforts of the Get On campaign, where they're kind of trying to get people into biking. But again, at no point do I think they're really aiming at this. The young market. The young market seems to be get on a scooter, stay on a scooter
because they can't get a car.
Because you can't get a car, and then when you can get a car, get a car. And then most of them stop riding as soon as they get off a scooter and into a car.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it riding.
Okay.
Because some of them, it's not even that. It's not the vehicle. It's just, I think it's, as I was saying earlier, it's so easy to pick up a scooter, and ride it like a complete twonk. Okay. Yeah. And basically I know. It just makes motorcyclists. It gives motorcyclists a bad name, even though they're on scooters. I mean, most people think, oh, it's two wheels, motorcycle.
Like the London scooter gangs.
Oh, yeah. And I'll be honest with you, that very quickly, just to kind of off topic, I'm quite glad the police are allowed now to hit them off their bikes.
Yeah, quite right.
So I think for me, I can only go on what inspired me to get into adventure.
Into it?
It was a long way round. It doesn't matter what you think of the TV program. That was that in itself started the whole adventure bike market. That into the mainstream, I
Okay.
should say.
But unlike you, I wasn't inspired by the long way around. I was inspired by the long way
You have no
down.
soul.
No, I was inspired by the long way down.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it, what?
No, because I happened to see it first.
Yeah.
I missed the first series, then went back and watched the other one. I tell you what, I really liked Race to Dakar. Theme music was hideous, but apart from the theme music, I really liked it. I really liked that one. Because I love the kind of race side of things. Not that I do it, but.
Sorry, I'm just reading John's.
John R, new to bikes here. Late in life, in my late 40s. I wouldn't buy a GS either. I
Can well afford
I
it.
can well afford it. Looking forward to the show. I think the age of giant heavy adventure bikes may be slowing down. I think you are right. I hope you are right. I worry that the GS has become no longer an adventure bike. I think it's now a touring bike, and I think there's
Okay. I think, but that's the whole point. What is an adventure? That goes back to the. I've had a
You've
GS.
started something, John. You've started something.
I've had a GS.
Yeah, but a long time ago.
Yeah, 2008.
So what was that?
GS.
The liquid cooled? No, it was before the liquid
No,
cooled.
air. It's air cooled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I mean,
So the
before
1200 GS Adventure.
Yeah.
And it was a great lump. It was a comfy chair. I could ride it. I could do some slight off-roading. I wouldn't take it anywhere near, proper off-road stuff but it still afforded me, for those long
dream.
journeys. It was great because you just sat on it But I agree that there needs to be a wide spectrum of bikes so people can find their little niche.
Their comfort spot.
Because there are people who won't go off doing single tracks.
That's interesting. Codger said dirt bike riding for kids. I started that in the 70s. Good way to get skills away from traffic. Progression from there is natural. And I think that's actually a good point. I know so many people who talk about, when they were younger, going out with their dads doing motocross and stuff like that. And that doesn't seem to happen anymore. And, okay, you could go down the kind of, everything too into their screens and too many people watching YouTube. But I think it's
the perception that this is what's happened now. I think that people see kids on motocross bikes and they think, hooligans and noise, and this is why there aren't that many tracks around. I mean, you look here, I think the nearest track in Swansea is somewhere like Cardiff.
When I was a kid, the first kind of time I really saw motorbikes and got excited about motorbikes was what was that Trials program I used to watch? It was on BBC Two, I think it was, and it was after
Sorry for your international viewers. Tom's reminiscing.
Sorry, I'm going to reminisce. There was this show in the UK. It was after One Man and His Dog, usually on a Sunday night, and it was trials riding. Essentially, it was watching trials competitions. And you can't. That would never be on mainstream channel anymore. That's relegated to your extreme sports channels or, Eurosport 4.
Yeah.
So there's not that.
But I think also motocross now, has become more expensive. I mean, I was looking at, the 250s and.
Thank you, Michael. Kickstart. It was called Kickstart.
That's
Thank you.
the one. And wasn't the intro music amazing? I'm not going to sing it to you because I'll just make a tit myself.
If I remember, what I'll do is I'll find it and then I'll play it on the next one of these so everyone can see it, or I'll link it in Facebook.
But yeah, the 250s, even 125s, even the 50cc motocross bikes are so expensive.
Yeah.
So expensive.
Are you allowing for inflation?
Yes. Sure, why not?
I think it's that thing of trying to get people, kids, inspired about travel, and I think, again, I don't just think it's motorcycle. I think travel in general seems to not be. When I was a kid, everyone talked about having gap years and going travelling and stuff like that. And I know there are, kids still do it, but it doesn't seem that the travel side of things doesn't seem to be where it was in terms of real kind of adventure traveling, going off, having an adventure, taking a backpack, not really knowing what's happening. Yeah, and maybe that's because you're never really out of touch anymore. You've always got the phone with you and stuff like that. But interrailing used to be a big thing. You go off and spend the summer on a train, going around Europe and seeing some great things. And I don't know whether, I don't know. I don't know if it's not just people aren't getting into adventure bikes, they're not getting into adventure at all.
But the point, I mean, how do you inspire that though? How do you? I mean, it's all well and good saying, we used to. I mean,
those were the days.
I mean, you look at all the travel programs they used to be on. You had Michael Palin, you had Roger Is it Roger Whittaker? I don't know. God, I'm showing my age here now. But going out, going to these places, and you're right that you're never too far away from a phone or a phone signal. But that shouldn't stop you. That shouldn't stop you going up. Going. Do you know what? I'm going to spend 3 days. I'm going to go up to Scotland. I've never ridden. I'm not going to book a place. I'm just going to go take a tent.
So if we're looking at this younger generation and we're saying to them, we want them to get into adventure motorcycling. Let's start at the very beginning of their journey. They decide that they want to ride a bike, and then they have to do their bike test. Now, the bike test when I did it was theory and a bike test. It's now. Isn't there 2 parts to the theory test now?
I don't know.
And then there's 2 parts to the main test.
There was 2 parts to the main test and the theory. One theory when I did it.
Probably should have looked that up before talking about this.
I'm sure one of you guys can tell us.
Just shout it out really loud.
Who's it? John R. Well, you're new to the bike. I mean, maybe you can tell us. I mean, I got my license in Dubai, and I just turned up with my helmet, and they went, "Oh, well done. There we go. Here's your license."
That's good to know.
Yeah. So if you see me riding a bike, stay well clear.
don't go on pillion.
Sorry, I'm just reading. Top Gear Vietnam. Yeah, that was
brilliant.
Andrew, that's actually a good call.
I really enjoyed that.
But again, I think that's few and far between. There aren't that many TV shows that. Sorry, there was David Beckham did that one on Triumph, but I don't know how well that was received.
I don't know. I don't think it's just about inspiring them. I think it's this kind of thing that the market has kind of priced itself out of the younger generation. I don't know.
But is that the manufacturer's fault?
I mean, what we probably should do is let's look at some of the younger people that we have travelling. Ben King, for example. He's on a 250L.
That's right.
Honda 250L CRF. He's going around the world at the moment. Young guy doing a great job. You had Reese Laurie, but of course he came from an adventure-based family. His parents ride motorcycles and things. John R. I'm hearing. Let's have Andrew first. People need to be exposed to travel and biking more in mainstream media to let them know that such things are possible and not just constantly get told that everything is too dangerous.
That's true.
Yeah, I think there is.
Well, if you look at the news, everywhere is.
Every country is too dangerous to go to.
I mean, again, going from my experience, some of the countries we got told don't go. You're going to get killed. You're going to get shot. And funny enough, they were usually the best countries we visited. And the ones that we weren't got, places like New York and stuff like that. That was the first 2 hours we were in New York. There was a drive-by shooting literally just around the corner, and we were walking past. So, I mean, it's all relative. But yeah, people do kind of wind you up, and it does put. I have to say,
parents worry so much about their kids.
You're a parent. What would you do if your son turned around and go, "Dad, I'm off to Libya. I'm going to ride a bike through Libya."
Well, he's 8, so I think I'd be worried.
Well, I'd be amazed first and foremost.
Very quickly, just on a quick term, we have our camera on these special batteries, and it should automatically switch between the batteries. Just in case it doesn't, if the screen goes black, don't go anywhere. We'll be back. It's all a bit new. We're just trying to figure it all out. So just bear that in mind. Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it? You always worry about your kids. Wherever they go and whatever they do, you're always going to worry about them. And I think that I wouldn't discourage my son from doing, or my daughter from doing something like that. However, that's because I've done it myself. You know, if you're a parent who's never done it yourself, you don't know what to expect, so you don't know what they should expect. I can see that being a daunting thing, but again, it didn't used to be as big a problem as it is now. But I think it's the kind of scaremongering that goes on on a lot of social media and stuff like that it can scare parents and their kids. And
But I also think there is a lot of just trying to get from A to B. Let's say, especially foreign lands. If you're trying to travel, let's say, trying to go through Iran or somewhere like that, and trying to get the paperwork. It's the understanding about what you need. It can be overwhelming, especially if you go on the internet and you try to find these things. Trying to find anything is just.
But I think that's overwhelming, whatever age you are. I think if we're looking again, if we try and bring it back to the subject, which is trying to get the younger generation. Interestingly, John from the US, it says here, if you pass a written and road test, you can get your license. There is a safety course that is taken that lets you skip the road test. Much easier here.
Wow.
Yeah, I think the other thing, in the UK, for example, is you get the different, once you get your license, you have to have a bike that's A2 first for a few years, depending on your age. And it's just getting your head around all the kind of complications of what there are. And, for instance, that's one of the reasons the 1090 has been quite popular, because it can be ridden on an A2 license.
But but that's not inspiring the younger generation. That's just, I suppose.
I think the key thing is the younger generation need to get on motorcycles, and then we can look at inspiring them to travel. I mean, I think if you get a kid that rides motorcycles and you get a kid that likes travel, they're going to eventually put those two things together. How do I think Long Way Down did a fantastic job for many of us, but I think it did more to encourage people who are about to have a midlife crisis to go and buy GSs than it did to really push. No. Sorry, that's not quite how I'm meaning that to come out. It certainly inspired me. I think it did a lot of good, but I don't think the younger generation were massively affected by that. I don't think there's a lot of young.
I was young-ish. I was in my 20s.
Yeah, but I'm talking about at the age where you're first looking at getting your license and things like that. So kind of between 18-year-olds and things like that.
But I think that's the point. Is that if I had seen that at 17, I would have gone, oh, I want a bike. I want to kind of.
Would you have seen it at 17? At 17, would you be watching BBC Two on a Sunday night?
Oh yeah.
I'm just saying.
But also,
but you're also in your how old now?
I'm 40.
Yeah.
Odd.
Again, we're trying to look at this younger generation thing. I mean, interestingly, John again said it's dangerous in quotations. Is exactly why I didn't start when I was young. My parents forbid it when I was at home, and then life got in the way. I actually, when I got my first motorcycle, I just lied to my parents and told them I was storing a friend's motorcycle. So, I think it is a very difficult one, and I don't think we're going to massively come up with a brilliant answer that's going to get the younger generation into riding motorcycles and going on adventures. Can
I just add though?
You can add anything you like.
Thank you very much.
That's all right. Anytime.
But I think also the inclusion of people like Ewan McGregor, and not so much Charlie Boorman because he wasn't really well known at that point, but especially Ewan McGregor.
Star Wars.
Yeah, there's that.
Yep.
But
Jar Jar Binks.
no, don't no. Let's not go too far now.
Okay.
Is getting someone that they recognise, someone that they follow, and because that's the point nowadays. Everyone follows someone. They all have, like on YouTube, on Snapchat. Yeah, so that it's getting people like that to kind of show the way, should we say, and kind of, because once that happens, people, oh well, yeah, they're doing it. I'll go try it, and hopefully that will kind of boost the amount of people kind of getting into it.
So what you're saying, we should both quit Adventure Bike TV and get some young uns in with loads of Instagram followers. It's the way to go.
Hey, I could be young. Yo.
Yeah, okay, yo.
I'm down with the kids, innit?
Okay, we're going to move on to our last subject. I mean, it is a really important subject, how we get the younger generation into motorcycling, and I think, certainly it's something we'll probably revisit again and again as people comment and say things. But the next thing, and this is where we really, really want your feedback.
Yeah.
What is the one piece of kit you would not go without on a motorcycle adventure? What's your one bit of kit?
I can't. I haven't got one. It depends on the journey.
Okay.
Long journeys, wet wipes. For those areas where you're not going to get
Those
water.
lonely nights.
Just those lonely nights. Wet wipes. But I'd also, if I was going with a friend or with Claire, my wife again.
Earplugs.
Kind of. Headsets.
Okay.
Headset, because the amount of times trying to talk to Claire and get her to kind of, if you see something, you just can't. And having a headset, it just saves so much time and shouting. And that was a lifesaver. Except for the fact, in the middle of Kenya, in the middle of nowhere, I got a phone call from my bank. No idea. They just rang me. I had my phone. I was listening to my music, and then I heard the phone go. I went, "What the hell's that?" Answered it. I went, "Oh, hello. This is HSBC. We just want to know how you're doing." Well, I'm in the middle of Kenya at the moment, but on a motorbike. But But
the
yeah.
international roaming fees alone are going to cost a bomb. So while you're on the phone, can I have a loan?
Oh, hello, wife.
Oh, Claire.
Oh, she's heard what you said.
Oh, Claire heard what I said about earplugs. I'm sorry, Claire.
Hello, lovely.
I personally wouldn't need earplugs around you because to me your voice is angelic.
Obviously, he hasn't heard you sing.
For me, I think the one piece of kit I couldn't be without is probably a motorbike. No, I think. Before I go on to mine, I think because I don't really know what mine is. I know Graham always says that one of the things that he now wouldn't be without is a little pillow. He has a little memory foam pillow. And but he says it just helps his sleep so much. And sleep is massively important on a trip. You know, if you can't sleep properly, you just get more and more tired. Exhaustion kicks in, and then all things can go wrong. I think for me as well, it's a good night's sleep is whether the one bit of kit I wouldn't be without. Claire, hydration bag says she can drink while riding. Yeah, hydration packs, staying hydrated is massively important. I think that's a good one as well. I don't know if there's anything that I wouldn't. I mean, for me, every trip I do is about filming. So it's having a really good compact camera that can do stills and video. The first trips I did, I used to use a Sony Alpha 77, which is a digital SLR. I've now moved over to the Sony A6500. Most of our big stuff is filmed on an FS 700, or we often
Going all geeky now.
I'm going all geeky, but having a nice little compact camera to take with you is always brilliant.
I think Kevin's actually hit a nail on the head.
I will read his comment for you.
Oh,
Howdy, y'all. Can I do it in an accent? because it lends itself.
I'm
to an
sorry,
accent.
Kevin. He's gonna.
You said you put y'all, so it lends itself to. Howdy, y'all.
How did that sound, Kevin?
Is that right? Sorry, Kevin. I sorry.
Just insulted the nation.
Good rain gear, and even those rubber over boots. That gold up.
Fold up.
Fold up. Yeah, okay. Fold up. That he actually wrote gold. That wasn't me reading it really bad.
And
He's corrected it. That's fine. And can be somewhere handy. I hate getting soaked while on trip or having to seek shelter and stop the ride. Yep, I think that's important. I do have a habit of just going to a shop, getting some plastic bags, putting them over my feet. And then
wow,
putting my
you're
feet into my
stylish.
boots. I know. Nothing like a budget.
No, saying that, plastic bags in the boots. I mean,
Works.
that kind of Kevin has reminded me, funny enough, the one piece I would not ride without is proper boots. And I'm not talking kind of nice, fashionable riding boots. I'm talking about, I wear Cities. I wear City Crossfires. Best boots, by the way.
What are the other city events?
City Adventures, which are great also. But on long adventures, you want someone to protect your legs. Because if you have an off, and Claire can attest to this, she's kind of nearly snapped her ankle in soft sand, and she got her foot caught underneath the pannier, and so as she was riding, it could have easily snapped her ankle, but because of those City boots, she just lightly sprained them. That's the one thing I would have proper riding boots, because if you screw your leg, you're not going anywhere, especially in the middle of nowhere as well.
Yeah.
And plus, you can hit someone around the head with them. They're really heavy.
I think the upshot is there isn't really one piece of kit that you couldn't be.
Yeah,
without.
there is.
There's
I just
several.
told you what it was.
Okay. So you know, headsets are no longer important to you.
No. As we're talking about importance and talking about safety features. I think
Claire's getting well into this now. Claire,
Yeah.
you should have just come down and sat next to Sam and told him to be quiet lots.
dear. I think comfort. See, this is the thing. Now I'm thinking about it. There's so much. I mean, a light, comfortable helmet. We had, I can't remember the X lights, which were heavy as they're really heavy, and after a long day, you just feel.
I think there's something to be said for having good sleep kit. Because I think what Graham says about the pillow. I mean, I really like a good mat. I find as well that because I am, as many may say, slightly rotund. I find sleeping bags incredibly constricting because by the time I'm in them, I'm really tight and it gets quite restricting. One of the things I really love is this little down insert with a zip on either side, and you put it in your sleeping bag and it just widens your sleeping bag by about 3 inches. That gives me a much better night's sleep.
3 inches.
Oh man. No.
What do you mean? That's not 3 inches?
Gonna
Claire, you lied to me!
I'm just going to read some comments now. Mark R. Agreed. City Crossfire 3s are bomb-proof.
Thank you,
I
Mark.
use the City Adventure Gore-Tex for touring, but when off-road is planned, CF3s.
Yep.
Squirrel Adventures. I love my E1. Welcome back, Squirrel Adventures. How was your power cut?
Yep. By the way, the E1s are a fantastic helmet.
Yes.
That I have to say, we ride with them when we do a lot of the
an
touring.
E1.
Yeah, we all do, don't we?
On the British Bike Off, I use an E1. Yeah, trouble is, I have a habit of getting my helmet signed on every trip I do, and then I need a new one for each trip.
Yeah, that's his excuse.
Yeah. And I'm sticking to it.
Didn't we use it? We all had one for the Belgium. No.
No. Well, you had one. Me and Graham we all just had them. We didn't get them.
No. I mean, we had them for the trip though, didn't we?
Yeah.
We all
Mine
had
had the British Bike Off written on it.
Oh yeah. But no, the flip up helmets are good.
They are, yeah, really good. And actually, a flip up helmet is brilliant for when you're travelling. Absolutely brilliant, because that thing of being able to just lift it up and people be able to see your face, smile at people, it makes a huge difference. I mean, it's great for filming as well, because it means rather than every time we stop, we have to take the helmet all the way off. You just get to see someone's face straight away. But at border crossings and things like that, it can be so helpful just to have that. Really worth it. Yeah. I've got 2. Squirrel Adventures has 2
One for each bike.
Schuberth E1s, one for each bike. Are they colour coded? Do you colour match to your bike? Squirrel Adventures. I want to see pictures now.
Because
Send
I'll be
pictures.
honest with you, if you do, my wife is going to love you. I'm going to love you. I think colour coding is...
I always, and actually I genuinely think this is quite a cool thing to do. If you're going on a big trip, take a really good permanent marker with you and just buy a helmet in plain white. 1, it tends to be cheaper because it's plain white. 2, you then, as you go on your journey, you just get people to sign it. Everyone you meet, you get to sign it. And then you come back and you've got this amazing helmet.
If you meet someone like me and you go, sign my helmet, you know what's going to end up on your helmet, don't you? So that helmet is... That's it then. Unless you want to ride around. Well, you saw what happened to Graham's helmet.
Yeah.
Luckily, I didn't have a marker pen. That was our first trip together, so I didn't want to kind of, sully the friendship.
By drawing a penis on his helmet.
Yes. But now I know him, all bets are off. And if you're watching, Graham...
Claire, I apparently have to love you now.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh.
There we go. Yes.
Squirrel. YouTube cover photos one. Your cover photo is this big on our screen. I can barely tell it's a person, but I'll tell you word for it. Okay, so that's it. I think we've pretty much covered everything we want to cover. Look out throughout the rest of the month. There will be me and Sam riding some bikes. There will be some bike build coming up. They'll be under the visor. They'll be cooking with Claire. All these exciting things will happen. We will also be at the Horizons Unlimited event, Hub UK. It is from the 13th to the 16th, 17th, whatever day the Sunday is. 4 days, starting on the 13th, Thursday, the 13th of June. We'll be at that event on the. We'll be leaving on the Saturday for our next trip for the Amazon series. So you'll get to see all the bikes that we're riding, and you'll get to see.
A TomTom satellite navigation unit drizzled in honey. A Helinox chair with crisp, fresh iceberg lettuce. High-end LED fog lights dipped in creamy milk chocolate. Climb jackets sprinkled with free-range goat's cheese. And Schuberth helmets with a naturally...
Hi! No idea what happened there. I thought the battery ran out and it hadn't. Sorry. We quickly chucked it to a commercial and then it fixed itself. So sorry about that. Yeah. Okay, so just very quickly, kind of end it. Yeah, we will be at the hub where we will be going off on our adventure, and you'll get to see what bike we've arranged for me, Graham, and Sam.
That should be fun. Yeah, but on a back to the bike build. I know someone did mention it. If any of you guys have any ideas of what you think a rally bike should have on it or not have, let us know. We're gathering parts as we speak. Yep. Because I think it's important to kind of... I think it should look cool.
We both think it should look cool.
Yeah, we both think it should look cool. But, I mean, we will actually be entering it into a rally. And I will be hopefully doing a rally with it.
That's the plan.
That's the plan. So, even though it should look cool, it also should be fairly effective.
Well, you'd hope so.
Yeah. So
that will continue. But yeah, and going back to my point, which Sam interrupted, as he tends to do.
By the way, yes, Mark, thank you.
Yes, thank you, Mark. We will be at the hub, and on the Friday night, as well as leaving on the Saturday, on the Friday night, we will be doing the Adventure Bike TV presents the Adventure Panel Show, which is a very exciting, funny, and brilliant panel show. It's just a good laugh. It's a bit silly. It's got lots of trivia about motorcycles. Audience gets involved. Everyone has a good laugh. And I deduct points from Sam's team because it's Sam. yeah, thank you very much for watching, everyone that has watched. Anyone that's watching this kind of after the live event just on YouTube, thank you very much. I really hope you enjoy it as well. And tell us what you want to see. If you've got news or any events or anything like that that you want us to mention on next month, we will. Just let us know. You can even give us people's birthdays and we'll wish people a happy birthday. Be like CBBS.
Exactly.
Send us cards that you made yourself.
And Squirrel, I did put anus on the back on that board, but Tom didn't want me to put it on. So
Yeah, the reason it says hi is because he put rude stuff on it, and about 2 minutes before I'm about to go on, I was like, "Oh my god!" and had to run around and just found hi. So that's what you ended up with. We'll put
Sorry.
something. Yeah, he inevitably at some point I'll forget and just do this.
I'll
with
try slip something in. Excuse the
Every
pun.
month.
Every month.
God. Okay. Well, we really hope you enjoyed. It's been a laugh.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sam, for being my guest.
No, thank you, Tom.
No, he's not a guest. He'll be here every month. And we'll do this about 6 p.m. on the 1st of every month. Yeah. Just to let you know. And we'll have some guests in the future. Yeah. Thank you very much. And I am going to leave you with our title sequence. Just as a way of saying goodbye.
And thank you, guys. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much. And we will see you during the month and next month. See you later. Bye-bye.
A TomTom satellite navigation unit drizzled in honey. A Helinox chair with crisp, fresh iceberg lettuce. High-end LED fog lights dipped in creamy milk chocolate. Climb jackets sprinkled with free-range goat's cheese. And Schuberth helmets with a naturally sourced cherry on top. This isn't just any adventure bike shop. This is the Adventure Bike Shop. The Adventure Bike Shop.
Rubbish adverts.
Great at adventure.